dies. Like, give me a break.
Because she
You know,
was really in love. She left Hollywood. Like she
he
really,
was so handsome. He was such a great guy, from what I understand. I have friends that knew him. But more importantly, there's a lot of celebrities. Angelina Jolie's single. I mean, what an extraordinary woman she is. You know, there's some really great women out there, but like, where are they going to meet these people? We go to events, it's gays and girls here, you know? Where are the men? I'd love to know where the men are in LA. Call me, DM me, because
well,
I'll fix
I'm going to be back in LA next week. But you know, the problem, yes,
it.
in the I
And
mean,
my
in
assistant's 29 and going next week for 3 weeks to the Taylor Swift Eras concert. She's going to be traveling in London, Amsterdam, Scotland. She's 29. She can't meet anyone here. She's gorgeous. So it's like, where are these people meeting people? There is a narcissism here that I think is now spreading in the United States. I think it's in Florida. I think it's in Texas. I don't know. It could be in Ohio for all I know. And when you get to a cold weather state, you're more likely to get married and settle down because it is freezing in the winter and you don't want to be alone. As I like to say, you better have your girlfriend in New York by Labor Day. But in LA, it's sunny 24/7, even if it is colder in the winter than it is the summer, but it's still sunny. And the same thing with Miami. So you get I have all the time in the world attitude, which you really don't, to be honest with you. One illness, you drink too much, you party too much, do drugs, the button goes off at some point. You'll see those people decline physically, looks wise, emotionally, and you're like, what's happened to so and so? And they can't cover it up with a facelift. It's there, and then you go, what is that? And they party too much in their heyday.
what about people like you say, celebrities? I mean, I'm guilty of this. You too, like you work all the time. I work all the time. I'm not saying I'm a
You know
celeb.
what?
I'm just saying,
I'm not guilty of working on time because I know how to make time for my guy. I don't have a normal job, so my job's 24/7. I have to pick up the phone whoever calls. But I work from home now since COVID, and we don't meet people like we used to. And even if you see them at the grocery store or you see them at the gas station, they don't walk up to you and say, "Hey, how are what's doing?" Blah blah blah.
no,
They're
they
not.
don't.
No, they're not like that. And so it's a kind of, I'm very old fashioned. I was raised by a father who would have killed me if I had called a boy. I literally had an egg timer next to my bed, 10 minutes on the phone. My grandmother would make the egg timer go off. And I had to wait for a boy to ask me out. It was a long wait sometimes. And, many years went by a couple times. A lot of celibacy in between because I don't sleep around. But it's not easy waiting for someone to ask you out. And then sometimes you're defined by your looks. So in LA, everything's looks based. So if you don't look a certain way, I think this is the first time I really like myself in the way I look. Like, in other words, I didn't get a facelift yet, for anybody who wants to know. Thought about it. But I don't, I like my body. I like my hair. I'm not saying I'm the most beautiful woman in the world, but I like me now. And it's the first time I think I've ever liked me the way I look in a picture or, what I'm wearing on the carpet or whatever. Yeah.
Do you still have your rules? Like, is it still 2 drinks for the
Two
first
drink
date?
maximums, no sex before monogamy, 2 drink maximum. Even if you're a man and you're 6'3" and you can carry your liquor, you go to 3, we're gonna think you're an alcoholic. Hang on. Yeah.
Oh,
Siren. Yeah, I do have my rules because the rules are there for you to be clear-headed, especially if you want to get married. And if you are under 45, your estrogen is soaring. And because of that, you're going to think, everyone's hot, everyone's good looking, especially if you sleep with them, you're oxytocin bonded. Now, if you're a guy, you don't get oxytocin unless you're in love with someone. And to get to that, you have to have nasopressin, which is doing things together, especially if you're a straight man, doing things for the woman. You know what I mean? Like helping her in some manner. If 2 gay guys are doing it, they have to help each other. It's got to be equal. And doing things together could be tragedy, things like, planning a funeral for one of the loved ones. It could be helping you build your house or put your furniture together or whatever. But you do activities and you go someplace together, that's nasopressant. You're falling in love by activities and doing things. Then you get oxytocin. But women get it immediately. One touch, one kiss, we're toast. Our brain is like, woo, punch drunk love.
What about, I mean, maybe this is for people later on, what about open relationships. I'm not even just
I mean,
talking the gays.
I just saw the weirdest thing on Instagram, and Jill told me, my assistant said it's not real. A girl was on the beach and 3 men proposed at the same time, and they were in a quad. Okay, I don't know if like that's really those are things really happening, but I'm not. Did you watch Bridgerton this season?
No.
Is an open relationship thing happening there? I don't want to tell you what it is, but you're gonna like it as a gay guy. You're gonna like it. It's gonna be really hot.
Interesting. Is it
Yeah,
going to be hot for me?
yes, it's hot. There's hot sex this season, real hot sex. But the thing is, I don't believe even in quads, let alone threesomes, because someone's gonna get hurt. I don't know if I can believe in an open relationship. I'm sorry. I feel like that would be people who have no jealousy in their body, and I don't even understand that as a human.
It's
Because
not really for me.
no, we're naturally jealous as human beings. We're naturally going to not want our mate to sleep with someone else. I understand it's kinky and people like watching that, like on porn. But when you go home at the end of the day, you go home with that person, you do not bring the other person into the relationship. As you saw on our show, there was an open relationship on our show this weekend with one of our gay guys, and his partner left him for the guy and wouldn't even let him see the dogs. Like it was a bad setup. They had decided to be open with this guy they met in Mexico. They brought him to the United States. The guy went off with the richer one of the two, the older guy, and the other guy was left holding the bag, and he couldn't get over it. It was really a bad situation. So there you go. Do open relationships work? It's a very rare commodity. And how long? Eventually they fall apart.
I know other situations like the one on your show this season where it was 3 guys, and yes, one of them was the third one in, was the younger one, the cuter one, and he, same situation, went off with the richer one, and the other one was just
The one
left.
gave him a life that he couldn't get in Mexico, and he was very young. He was in his 20s. So do I believe in him? No, honestly, no.
How do you feel about such a big age difference? Asking for a friend.
Um, I like thought about opening my age difference because now that I'm older, should I go down to late 40s? And I thought about that today. So every case is a situation that you go, wow, I can't believe that lasted. You know, Alexis Carrington, my favorite, woman, right? She basically is in a very large age gap and they adore each other. I'm not going to put it down. If you want children and they don't, and you're the younger of the two, you might leave. So you'd have to really set up the variables of like, what's this relationship to you and how do you want it to go? And people change their minds, don't get me wrong. But if you set it down and set the table right, it usually will work. I just don't like looking at Brad Pitt and him and this 30-year-old. Is it really worth it? Like, I don't know.
No.
I don't see it could last till you're old. Like we're in different time zones. I want to grow old with someone and somebody else is just starting to want to have a family, even though we're sexually attracted and have fun together. How does that work? That's my question.
Well, I always think of it as it's going to work until the person is like sick. Maybe that's at 85,
Yeah,
maybe it's
that's
at
the thing.
90.
Yeah, and then you got a nurse, you want to be the nurse and get the purse, but what's that going to do for you in the long run? You'll be wheeling him around till he's in, a coma. That's not good either. That's not good energy anyway, and that's false. If you really love that person, you don't care. But if you